Good evening, sports betting fans. This is Hardways Mike with SBI. It is Wednesday, the 23rd of August. I know it is late here. I know we only have one more MLB game left to go today, but we have been hard at work at the SBI offices getting things ready for college football, which is now just 3 days away. If my math is correct, we are looking at Saturday. This coming Saturday, we've got Navy and Notre Dame kicking off the college football season, 1:30 p.m. Central Time. We could not be more excited, and we have a lot for you on the SBI, the Sports Betting Intel website, including new this week in college football. So check us out over at sportsbettingintel.com. Let us know what you think about it and how we're doing over there, because we could not, as I mentioned, we could not be more excited for college football, which we'll get into in a little bit later this podcast. But just checking around Major League Baseball, we had a bunch of early games today, including Twins and Brewers. Brewers managed to outlast the Twins 8-7 in extra innings. Royals blanked the A's 4-0. Phillies lost to the Giants 8-6. A lot of big scoring games the last few games. The Reds over the Angels in game one of the doubleheader, 9-4. Cardinals over the Pirates and Cubs over the Tigers. Both of those are 6-4. And then the White Sox managed to sneak out a win there, 5-4 in the bottom of the 10th inning, thankfully keeping that win alive for them in the 9th when they scored one run and then a winning run in the 10th, keeping the Mariners from getting their 7th win in a row. So, take that, Seattle. I don't care that the White Sox just fired a bunch of people. A White Sox win is a White Sox win. We have a bunch of games going on right now as well. Again, some high-scoring games. Well, actually, these look like actually some lower-scoring games. We got the Dodgers and the Guardians delayed 3-1 right now. We've got the Rays and the Rockies 5-3. Rockies are up over the Rays right now. Orioles are up 2-0 over the Blue Jays. Yankees offense have come to life. Judge has 2 home runs in that game. 6-0. The Yankees are up over the Nationals. Braves offense has been a little quiet as of late. They didn't put up more than 3 runs yesterday. They've only got 1 run through 5 innings right now. It's 1-0. Braves over the Mets in the top of the 6th. Disappointed for sure. I was all in on the Braves for Dinger Tuesday. Had a bunch of guys across Caesars and Bet Rivers and FanDuel, and we could only get one of those hits. But we did get one, which is good. We just couldn't get Matt Olson. I'm fully expecting Matt Olson to hit a home run today because, as we know, Matt Olson loves to hit home runs on the days that I don't bet him. And then the Astros are up right now over the Red Sox 3-1. The Astros won big last night. We do have one game, as I mentioned, the Reds and the Angels, game 2 of the doubleheader. The Reds are bringing out Lyon Richardson tonight for the starting pitcher. He's got an 0-1 record with a 12.00 ERA. Not a great year, but he's mostly a relief pitcher, so it's not his season debut, obviously, but he does not have a whole lot of starts under his belt. You got Reed Detmers on the mound for the Angels, 3-9 record with a 4.93 ERA. This Angels team is relying heavily on Shohei Ohtani to both keep them in this thing, in the wild card hunt, in the pitching and the batting department especially. He just can't do everything, and the Angels keep sliding away from that last wild card spot. If we take a look at the playoff picture, the Angels have dropped to 7th now for the 4 teams from the wild card spot. Seattle with a big surge there. They're now 71-56. They're in the 3rd spot and in the driver's seat for that last wild card spot, with the Astros and the Rays above them. Between the Angels and the Mariners, you get the Blue Jays and the Red Sox and the Yankees. The Red Sox and the Yankees are in the cellar of the AL East, but they are still in that hunt because that is such a good division. Anyway, with the Angels and the Reds game, you've got the Reds. It is in Los Angeles, as you can imagine, or the Anaheim. That is the Reds plus 128 of the dog in that FanDuel Sportsbook, and Bet Rivers have that line at plus 128. Or you can back the Angels at minus 142 over on DraftKings Sportsbook. That's the best line for the Angels tonight. That's very much a pitching matchup. Let's quickly take a look at the player props page, the MLB player props page. We're not going anywhere with Major League Baseball, whether that's lines, whether that's player props. We've got a full 6 weeks of regular season to go before we get into the postseason, so don't worry about it. We'll have content for you and lines for you throughout the rest of the Major League Baseball season and postseason. But let's look at Shohei's home runs. Let's see, the best line, that's not great, plus 240 over on FanDuel Sportsbook. So if you really want to take Shohei, do it on FanDuel, but I would not really a big fan of that line. 240 is not something that I would put money on for Shohei. Let's look at some early lines for tomorrow's games. We do have a full slate. Tomorrow's Thursday. We've got a shorter slate tomorrow. We've got 6, 8, 9 games. So let's look at the A's and the White Sox game. A's are the dog in that. It is in Chicago, so plus 134 on FanDuel Sportsbook for the A's. And then the White Sox minus 145 on Caesars Sportsbook and PointsBet, but you probably don't want to see that game too much. Won't want to hear too much about that. How about the Astros and the Red Sox? They'll be finishing up a series tomorrow, I believe. The Red Sox are on the road. They are the dog in that, plus 105 over on DraftKings Sportsbook. You can get the Astros at minus 120 over on Caesars and FanDuel and BetMGM there. So the Astros 72 and 55 this year. Again, minus 120 for the Astros line versus the Red Sox of 66 and 60. They are trying to climb into that wild card spot with the Astros having the second spot there. How about the Blue Jays and the Orioles? As we have said several times on this podcast, big fans for the Orioles over here at SBI. Actually, it doesn't look like there is a lineup for that. Those teams are still playing today, so we don't have a line for that just yet. And one more, how about the Cubbies and the Pirates? Let's see if we got lines for that. No, we don't. Not a whole lot of early lines. We got lines for the Red Sox and the Astros. Twins and Rangers, we want to back the Rangers, plus 110 over on DraftKings, FanDuel, and PointsBet, and Caesars and BetMGM, so 110 across the board. Otherwise, minus 130 for Minnesota, for the Twins over on Caesars Sportsbook. I think that's it for the lines that we have up right now. Yep, that looks like it's. We got early lines for tomorrow's Guardians and Dodgers game, but only a couple of lines. PointsBet has the best lines, plus 105 for the Guardians, minus 125 for the Dodgers. Beyond that, we've got Major League Soccer coming back this Saturday, and we also have right now the USA Open Cup, or the Open Cup for. We've got. I'm not entirely sure. We just had a cup finish up. Inter Miami won over Charlotte FC, but now Inter Miami's playing FC Cincinnati. They're down 2-1 late in the second half. It's almost to the 90th minute here. You also have a game tonight, the Houston Dynamo versus the Real Salt Lake. I don't know. I'm not sure what these tournaments are. We'll have to get the real Jay-Z on to let us know what this USA Open Cup is. But we do have, as I mentioned, we've got Major League Soccer. We've got Atlanta United this weekend on Saturday, minus 180 over on PointsBet versus Nashville FC, plus 145 over on DraftKings Sportsbook. And we've got a bunch. Inter Miami's also playing this Saturday against the New York Red Bulls, minus 112 for Inter Miami. New York Red Bulls, minus 105. As I've said before, I am doing everything in my power to try to get tickets to see Inter Miami play when they play the Chicago Fire this coming October. Messi's just been on an absolute tear. Not sure if he scored today. They do have a goal. Not entirely sure if he scored, but I definitely want to get and see him and let people know that I was able to see him. But on to the main focus for this week. We've got college football. As I mentioned, we've got Notre Dame and Navy kicking off at 1:30 p.m., the start of the college football season. That is week 0. But week 0, we also have 6 more games. So we've got 7 games this Saturday, including the Madman Woj's favorite, Hawaii and Vanderbilt at 6:30. We've got USC, the Heisman frontrunner, Caleb Williams will be under center for the USC versus San Jose State. They will be at home. We'll see who San Jose State is going to trot out. I think there's still a quarterback competition going on there. And then we've got week 1 starting on Thursday, August 31st. We have a bunch of games. It looks like we've got, 10 games. We've got quite a few games on Friday, at least half a dozen. Then Saturday, week 1. Saturday, September 2nd. Could not be more excited. We are days away, folks. Well, let's look at that USC line right now. So USC, well, the line there, minus 9,000 for USC. No surprise, but let's pull up the game board and see if we can dig in a little bit on the spread and the total there, because I don't think anybody's laying minus 9,000. All right, if you want to back USC and Caleb Williams, you got to give up 30.5 points over on DraftKings Sportsbook. You can get that at minus 108. Alternatively, if you want to back San Jose State, and you can get over 2 touchdowns, basically 2 touchdowns and a field goal, plus 30.5, minus 110 over on PointsBet. The over-under in that game is 63.5, shaded to the over. You can get the over 63.5 at Caesars at minus 110. Otherwise, Bet Rivers has the under, plus 128, under 63.5. In fact, Caesars is the best line. Well, Caesars and MGM, the best line of that over 63.5 at minus 110. Good line there. If you're taking the over, now's a chance to jump on it. 63.5 at minus 110. I really kind of like that. I like what Caleb Williams is doing. He did say earlier today that he's not sure if he's going to come out Sure, Caleb Williams. We're all not sure if you're going to go and declare for the draft, even though you're the presumptive first overall pick. Yep, keep them on their toes, I guess. But I think they're going to try to make a push for his Heisman this year. I could see them keeping him in late into the third quarter, even if it's a blowout. We'll see what happens, though. Teams have been known to pull their starters when it's blowout, when it's these cupcake matchups early in the season, early on. So if you're betting player props, hint, hint, if you're betting player props, just be aware of that when you've got some out-of-conference games that these guys might get pulled early if the game is out of hand. We saw that quite a bit with Alabama. We saw it with Ohio State to a lesser extent last year. But we will see USC currently ranked number 6. But we have a lot more going on with college football. Go over to our This Week in College Football page. We've got everything that you need to know for betting college football matchups. So if I just pull up a game here, New Mexico State versus UMass, that game is in 2 days and 4 hours. We've got our game preview. You can read the game preview. We've got our conference records. We've got our average scores. We've got team stats. We've got offensive yard, passing attempts, advanced stats. I won't even go through everything on here because we've got 35, 40 different stats that you can dig into both on offense and defense for each of the teams. We've got the schedules. We've got it color-coded. We've got the lines all in one place. This Week in College Football is the place to get your information for college football betting. We could not be more excited about this. We break it down by conference. So we've got the Independents, the AAC, Conference USA, Mountain West, Mid-American, SEC, Pac-12, Sun Belt, Big 12, ACC, Big 10, and they overlap. So if you got a Big 10 team playing an SEC team, well, you'll find them under both as well. So let us know what you think about it. Head over. Make sure you get your subscription before September 6th. That's when our price goes up to our regular price of $19.95 per month. Our summer promo is ending after September 5th. So get in and get your subscription going before September 6th and get access to all this great information over on sportsbettingintel.com. One more thing before we get on a Plus EV to kind of close this out for tonight. We've got the PGA Tour Championship going on. Now, this one's a little confusing. They did change up the format. They used to have the Tour Championship would have 2 winners in the same event. You had the Tour, I believe the Tour Championship, and then the FedEx Cup winner. The FedEx Cup winner was a points winner, but the Tour Championship was the actual event. But basically, they changed it up this year. Whoever leads in the FedEx Cup's point standing to enter the Tour Championship will begin at 10 under par, and then those behind him will begin at a staggered scale. So you've got Scotty Scheffler, and the winner will be the winner of both the FedEx Cup and the Tour Championship. So Scotty Scheffler is the favorite. He's the outright winner favorite at plus 130. He is going to get 10 under par to start. You can also bet top 5 and top 10, including starting strokes. So if you want to bet top 10 for Scotty Scheffler, including starting strokes, minus 3,000. Right behind him, it's Rory McIlroy plus 320, and then Victor Hovland, who ruined my ticket last week, at plus 500. John Rahm at plus 850. I thought he would have been higher, actually, in the list. Patrick Cantlay plus 1,600, big jump there, and then another jump to Xander Schauffele, Max Homa. These guys, they get fewer starting strokes the farther down they start. So Scotty at 10 under, Victor at 8 under, Rory 7 under, John Rahm 6 under, Lucas Glover 5 under, and then a bunch of guys at 4, and then a bunch of guys at 3, 2, 1, and then some guys at even par. So we'll see how this comes together. I'm not sure what I'm going to be betting on with this. This one is a little confusing when it comes to actually placing wagers and also keeping track of it throughout the week. So I might be betting some matchups. You got finishing positions. You've got the matchups, which actually 2 balls and tournament matchups, tournament groups you can bet. So I'll dig in a little bit tonight, but Scotty Scheffler is the favorite in that plus 130. So how about we close it out with a plus EV bet for this Saturday and college football. As I mentioned, we've got Jacksonville State taking on, I believe it's UTEP. They're taking on UTEP at 4:30 p.m. Central. And if you want a pretty decent EV bet on that, you can take Jacksonville State minus 7.5. That's the alt line of minus 7.5. Right now, you can get Jacksonville State minus 7.5 on Bet Rivers at plus 235. So not terribly long odds there. That is a plus 5.7% positive EV bet. I'll definitely be betting that. Jacksonville State minus. I know you're giving up more than a touchdown, but if you think this team can win, then that is a very, very good bet there. That is, again, plus 5.7% positive EV bet, plus 235 for Jacksonville State, minus 7.5 for this weekend versus UTEP. That's it for me. My name is Hardways Mike. We have a ton of sports betting content for you the rest of this week, including the lead up to NCAA football. I'll be glued to my TV all Saturday long, and then next week when things really kick off with week one. As we say over here at SBI, you don't always have to bet, but when you do, wager wisely.